everyone, and welcome to the next part of our solo leveling read-through review as we go through the manga chapters that are going to be in Season 3 and above. If we hopefully get more than Season 3. Probably going to get more than Season 3. But, you know, we're just going to go through them. I've been really enjoying this. This is awesome. I get an excuse to read solo leveling again. So that's awesome. So when we last left off, we covered chapters 108 through 110. We found out about what an upgrader is. We found out that, the American the American Association wants Jinwoo to go over to America and be a hunter. Kind of like how they took Hwang Dunso over there. So we went over that and just, that was the little bit that was cut out from the Season 2 finale. And now we are getting into the nitty-gritty now for Season 3. So, without further ado, let's get going. So we start off in a manner that is very reminiscent to when Jinwoo's father was revealed. And instead we find one of those guys from the end of Season 2. Remember the two guys who could make the portals? Well, we found the pale, old man-looking one. And he says that, they're hiding cleverly the brilliant fragments of light. And behind him, a portal opens up, and another one of these weirdos shows up. He is called Yogumund? Yogumund. We're gonna go with Yogumund. They talk about the small island to the east, which is Jeju Island, and the old guy says it's the place of the Shadow Monarch. Didn't you decide to take care of that place? And then the Yogamon says that it seems like the rulers are going to release Legia, south of that place. I'll take that place. So they start talking about the Shadow Monarch, who we know is Jinwoo, right? And Yogamon says that if the planner fulfills the contract, I think it'll be alright. It also is here that says planner can also be translated as architect. So there's that. And Yogamon says they have good news. The greatest fragment of brilliant light has been confirmed. Hey, look at that. And the guy's like, that's interesting. Isn't that very nice? They are confronted by someone dressed in a cloak. I am pretty sure it's not, really confirmed to us, but I'm gonna assume here that this is Jinwoo's dad. He looks very much like Jinwoo's dad. He ends up doing battle with the old guy. The old guy just he leaves. They go through a portal, they leave. That's that. And then we move on to the Red Gate, where Jinwoo was at the end of Season 2, and he meets the boss of the Red Gate, and that guy can also talk. He's also a monster who can talk. And, that guy's pretty pissed that Jinwoo's been killing off his people. Really pissed. And Jinwoo's just like, okay, well, I'm going to deal with this. So he summons his army again, and they just beat the crap out of this dude and the rest of his forces. They really like the Jinwoo, making Jinwoo look super cool, because there's a lot of pictures here of Jinwoo just looking freaking awesome. So inevitably, obviously, the dungeon boss, the gate boss, he is beaten. And Jinwoo has questions for him. And Jinwoo says it'll be less painless for you if you answer my questions. We get another awesome shot of Jinwoo. We then just pretty much go to where the guy's dead now. I guess he didn't have the answers Jinwoo wanted. Jinwoo says that, the system was interfering again. So he probably asked this guy a lot of questions, and the system kept, doing what it did with Essel, terminating the conversation. And Jinwoo's like, well, that sucks, but I'll find out sooner or later. And he takes out a key. The key that he got from the cursed random box, which we saw a little flash of it when he reached level 100, if you remember. We finally get the information on the key. It is called the Cartion Temple's Key. The Cartion Temple is the double dungeon where Jinwoo became a player. He has the key to go back there. That is awesome. We're bringing it back full circle, and we get an amazing picture here of, you know, old Jinwoo with new Jinwoo, which is awesome, and that's probably going to be my thumbnail. That's probably going to be the thumbnail. And that is where chapter 111 ends. Chapter 111 ends right there. So we move on now to chapter 112, where we see Jinwoo is he's answering, so it looks like some hate mail. he's answering hate mail that Jinwoo's getting, and he's not too happy about it. He calls Jinwoo a Hwannim, I believe is how it's pronounced. That is Korean, like a way to say big brother in Korean. I was confused first. I'm like, what the hell am I missing? And then I looked it up, and it's like, oh, this is a nice term. So it's good. We got the bro squad here, baby. So Jinwoo shows up, and Jinwoo's like, well, I just came out of a gate, and you say we need money, right? So here's a bunch of money. And he just hands him a bunch of high-level magic cores, and he's like, well, there you go. And now, you know, Jinho's like, great, we don't gotta worry about salaries for employees. And Jinwoo's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, we need one more member for our guild, right? Because they need 3 founding members for a guild, which is a guild master, which is Jinwoo, vice guild master, which is Jinho, and a 3rd member. Jinho says there's actually one more important matter we also have to take care of. We have to find the name for our guild. And Jinwoo's like, oh, okay. So, a bunch of suggestions are thrown by Jinho. He says we could be the Woo Ho Guild after the last characters in our name, or Jin Jin Guild using our middle characters. Jin Jin sounds good though, and then Jinwoo just cuts him off and goes, how about the Solo Play Guild? And Jinho's like, that's the worst name I've ever heard in my life. And he's like, I guess there's some things he's not good at. He can't name to save his life. There's a knock at the door. Jinho goes to open it, and who is there but Chae? She's here! She is here, baby! Hunter Cha is here. So Jinwoo's like, what are you doing? And she says that she wants to join the guild. Oh, baby, it's starting. Jinwoo just wants to make sure that, you know, this is of her own volition. Right? He's like, Chairman Go didn't ask you. Choi Chonin didn't, like, kick you out of the guild, right? She's like, no. And he's like, well, then why do you want to join my guild? He asks, you know, you're still under contract with the Hunter Guild. And she's like, oh, I got enough money to pay the penalty, you know, to buy her way out. And he says, you know, like, we don't have the necessary funds to compensate you. And she's like, no, it's fine. You know, he's like, I don't need the payment. Which, I mean, she's an S-rank hunter. She's probably rolling in money already. She's probably got, like, enough to live forever. So, you know. He asks again, why do you want to join the guild? There's nothing for you to gain from this. And she is struggling of how to explain this. Right? She's like, at first, she was just drawn in by the fact that, you know, he didn't smell awful to her, right? But obviously, as we know, she wants to get stronger, like Jinwoo. We get a flashback to when she woke up from the Jeju Island raid, where Chairman Go kind of tells her everything that's kind of happened, and she's like, well, did Sun Jinwoo show up? Because obviously, she didn't know, right? She was like half dead. She almost died. She has no idea Jinwoo showed up, and Chairman Go's like, yes, he did. Ed says, you know, like, in her brain, she's like, trying to formulate how to say it. She says, if I say I wish to stand by your side to the very end, that sounds very weird. She starts blushing because of it, and Jinwoo, being, you know, dense anime manhwa protagonist, is like, what's going on? Eventually, she answers that she wants to live comfortably. So Jinwoo eventually decides that she can join, but she must pass the entrance test for the guild, which he's making up on the freaking spot. And because she's like, wait, that wasn't in the notice. And he's like, well, yeah. He's like, it's a new one. Yeah, you just did it now. She's like, what kind of test is this? And he's like, well, you have to beat one of my summons. Okay, what summon is it? And he goes, for you, I'll use my strongest summon. She's like, good. So then we enter chapter 113. They're going to go to the gymnasium of the association, and Jinwoo decides, well, this is the best time to see if he can use shadow extraction to move more than, just himself. So he grabs her, and they, use shadow exchange. And there's a great scene where Jinho comes back in. He's brought snacks in for them to talk, and then there's just a random, arisen demon there. And then the demon chomps on the food. That's lovely. So Cha's like, well, I left my weapon behind. And Jinwoo's like, oh, the pickaxe? And she starts freaking out, like, oh no, you remembered the pickaxe? And he's like, nah, I'm just joking. It's a joke. I make those occasionally. So she goes to the storage and borrows a weapon that they have in there, because the association has a bunch of weapons you can use for training and practicing. So she gets one of them. Who summons Igris to fight her. And I'm like, oh, baby. So Cha is like, what's the condition for winning or losing? And Jinwoo is like, you win by destroying the summon, or you lose when you decide to surrender. Jinwoo then says that, he said he'd use his strongest, but Beru might be a bit too much. It's a bit traumatic, Beru almost killed her. So Jinwoo proving that he has more thinking skills than, most protagonists in this scenario would. So before they fight, Jinwoo gives Igris the Demon King Sword. So Igris is going to use the Demon King Sword. And he and Cha, they just have a big fight. I'm not good at describing fights. Let me just tell you, though, with like a bunch of the pictures I will show, it's really, really cool. So Chairman Go hears a bunch of noise in the gymnasium. He's like, I don't think anyone reserved the gym today. And he's like, hey, can you guys show me the CCTV footage of the gym? And then he sees Jinwoo and Cha. And he's like, oh. And then he remembers the conversation he had with Cha, and he thinks that, oh, there's a thing going on between them. And he's like, all right, can you guys just turn off the CCTV footage in the gym? Just say that there was an inspection. And the guy's like, okay, sir. And he's just sitting there. There's a big boom from the gym, and he's like, they're enjoying their youth. It's freaking awesome. I love this. So, Cha defeated Igris very easily. Very easily. And she's like, are you sure that was the strongest one you have? You said you would use your strongest, so summon him now. And Jinwoo's like, you might get hurt. And she's like, no, I'll be fine. I want to face him once again. So she already knows. And he's like, okay. And he summons in Igris. Not Igris, sorry. He summons in Beru. And we move on to chapter 114. Cha versus Beru. They finally get to fight. She can, she can do this. So, Beru asks, what, he's like, what do you want me to do? And Jun was like, defeat her, but make sure she doesn't get hurt. And Beru's like, yes, of course. Of course, my king, I'll do that. He lets out a scream and he breaks all the freaking windows in the vicinity. Thanks, Beru. That's a bit freaking extra. And Beru kind of like, gets his claws ready out. And Jun was like, hey, put those away. I told you not to her. And he's like, oh, yes, of course, sorry. I love it that, like, Beru is, like, so ferocious. But when it comes to Jinwoo, he just cowers. He's like, yes, okay, of course, my king. I love that. So, Beru just freaking swishes behind her, just like the Jeju Island raid. Right? She even calls it out. She's like, it's the same move, but this time she blocks it. From here on out, again, I'm not good at describing fights, but oh my god, the amazing fight and the just amazing, like, freaking drawings they have here, dude. Like, the art is beautiful between them. Like, this is great. And, this kind of shows you Cha probably could have held her own against Beru if she wasn't, so dang tired from, having to kill the Ant Queen. So Cha activates a sword skill, which is a skill sword dance, which I believe is like one of her like signature skills that she's known for. Oh my god, dude, there's a fantastic image here where like the glass is like falling around her. It's so beautifully done. Can I just say that? It is so beautifully done. Like, oh my god. So she sees an opening against Igris, and she activates her a skill which is Sword of Light, and it looks freaking fantastic. And she nails Beru with it, and Jinwoo's just like, oh no. So they say here that after getting hit with it, Beru went right back to his instinctual command that is embedded in him by the Ant Queen from birth, which is that he must eliminate all enemies. And this woman is his enemy. So Beru, he goes feral, man, and he starts going after her. Jinwoo, though, gets in the way and stops Beru's attack. And he's like, that's enough. I told you to stop. Beru scampers freaking back and just begs Jinwoo for forgiveness, going like, I am so sorry. And Jinwoo's just like, whatever, man. So Jinwoo asks Cha why she's trying so hard. There's no need for you to go to the lengths just to join my guild. He's like, this is just a test, an entrance test for a nameless guild. A hunter of your caliber shouldn't be risking your life over something like this. It's not worth it. Why are you going to such lengths? And she doesn't answer. Jinwoo, I don't know how he did it. He broke the mold, guys. He's not so dense. He says, are you perhaps interested in me? And she's like, yes. She just says it. She goes, yes, I think so. It's beautiful. I love this, man. I love this. And that's it. That's chapter 114 done. And that's the end of this video. It's awesome, man. This is getting the Jinwoo Cha ship a-sailing. They had little bits before. This entire bit here, this is just getting it going. It's sailing, bro. The ship is sailing. Are you on board? Because I think I'm very much on board. I've got my floaty and everything for when this ship goes. I mean, the ship isn't going to sink because we know where this goes. But, I got everything. I'm packed and ready to go. So, that's it. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this. It's a lot of fun, Cha trying to join his guild makes sense because, like she wants to get strong like him. What better way to get strong like him than to be in a guild with the guy? That makes total and complete sense. And also, because she's got a bit of a crush on him, so it even works out. The fun comedy bit with Jinho is great. That's always fun. The bit with Chairman Go where he's like, oh, they're enjoying their youth. I find that to be funny as well. And also, like the little bits we have with those other guys. I believe they're called rulers, if I'm right, at the beginning. I think that's what they're called. Seeing them, and, kind of getting a little more glimpse in what their plan is going to be. And Jinwoo, now we know he's going to go back to the double dungeon from the very beginning as well. So it's a lot was shown in this little bit, right? In these, 4 chapters. We got a lot, and it's real fun, and the art is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Cannot wait for season 3 to fully animate this, because I'm sure the fight scene, when they animate the fight scene between Cha and Beru, is going to be awesome, And I also like the character stuff it does with Cha, not just, again, she wants to get stronger, she has a crush on Jinwoo, so she's going to join the guild, but also, this is her overcoming what happened on the island. She actually got a chance to fight Beru, and she held her own. She did very good. Of course, Beru is stronger than her, still, because, when he finally cut loose from not trying to injure her too much, he was gonna freaking kill her. So there is that. But it's nice that, she gets a chance to show that, she could go toe-to-toe with Beru. She would not win, but she could give him a challenge, which is nice. So there we go. That is Solo Leveling. That's the second episode of this little series done. What did you all think of this? Let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you guys all next time for when we do this next week. My plan is to have this be on Saturdays. Replacing Solo Leveling the anime is this instead. This is the replacement where we go over the manhwa. So thank you all so much, and I will see you all next time.